Friday, what's up? It's Nate Smoyer from Real Team Panda coming at you. A new service overview today. We're going to be talking about not exactly a brand new startup, company called Avail, formerly known as Rentalations. And I chose them today to talk about for a few different reasons. They've been on my radar for some time now. I like what they do. And, they sent me this nice little release yesterday. And congratulations to you guys. 100,000 landlords using Avail. That's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big milestone, I believe, in the space. And so for those of you who may not be Avail or aware of what Avail is or Avail users, let me take you through. So actually, let's go back to the homepage. So the big highlight, the top of the line headline here is feel good about the way you manage your rentals, and that's actually something I can relate to very closely. You want to feel good about whoever you're handing the keys over, and knowing like they're not going to trash the place. You feel like they're going to pay on time. That you're going to have a way of communicating with them, and these are all the small attention points that a product like Avail solves. So find tenants, view credit history, sign leases, collect rent on any device with tools specifically built for DIY landlords. So let's jump to pricing, and then we'll go through a few different options. So if you just have one unit and you're looking for, maybe you just need a little extra help, maybe that unit is like 2 hours away. I feel like rental management software is perfect for people who live a little bit further away from their rentals. There's no cost to it except for if you want to collect the payment, it's at $2 a month. Now, there's a few other competitors out there. Cozy, for instance, is free, however many units you have. But I think, they have a little bit of a scalability issue with the management side on that. But if you're a landlord, where you want the free bank payment fee, so it's $10 a month. So you save a few dollars a month. What is that? 24 minus 10, so $14 a month. And then, it's $6 every additional unit. They have a few different options, but also you get a marketing website. So maybe you live in an area that is still having some trouble marketing properties. This is going to come in handy for you. I don't know what the markets are like across the nation, hands down, but most markets have been pretty tight in the last few years. But either way, having a marketing website for your property certainly is one way for it to stand out. And if you have something that's a little higher end, you're definitely going to want that. And then they have the Landlord Plus. This is 5 units, so now you really get those economies of scale for those of you buying multifamily. No bank fees and only $4 per additional unit. Plus, you get the marketing website, priority support, and unlimited messages and photos, which I could see that coming in handy pretty quickly. So let's talk about finding a tenant who pays on time. So, one of the things that Avail does is they help you go through the screening process. So, you can leverage their application that they use. That it's an online application, captures everything in a nice, orderly, neat fashion, and then makes that easy for you to evaluate who you're renting to. If you're not used to taking applications, or maybe you are, but you're used to doing it manually, that's just too much work. And so this is really going to really cut back on that. This is one of the, bigger things that I would say that a property management company offers is on the very front end, getting somebody in the property and going through all this painful stuff. But if you make it easy with something, say like Avail, then you may not need to use a property management company. This is a little bit of a view about their screening reports. So depending on how much information you want to get back about your tenants, those screening reports will definitely will cost different amounts. Now, if you're like me, you pass those costs on to the tenant. It just makes sense, in my opinion, to do that. Hey, they want to live there. That's fine. So they do a TransUnion credit, criminal background, and eviction reports. That last one, man, you can't pay us the eviction reports. You need to go through that. So here's all the other things that they'll be verifying when they're doing the screenings for you for your prospective tenants. And last but not least, credit score. Credit score gives you an idea of how likely is this person going to be paying me back. Have they shown a history of doing or keeping good payments? Do they manage their stuff well? Obviously, depending on what income type neighborhood or area you're renting to, you may have different standards here. I tend to try and keep my standards pretty high on this because I want to know that we have people who can pay their bills. So this type of information, again, making this really easy to get, really easy to look through, is a high value offer. And for the do-it-yourselfer, this is great. So one of the things I thought that was pretty cool also with Avail is they help you take care of some of the marketing, and this is through syndication. So once you're ready to put your property on the market, you're looking for a tenant, great. And so you create a listing on Avail, and then from there, then it actually pushes it out to all the other places. So if you want to get it up on Zillow and Trulia and Hotpads and Apartments.com, it pushes it out. Now, I don't see Facebook Marketplace on here. Man, if you guys can get that Facebook Marketplace integration, although at some point someone's got to fill me in on exactly what the agreement Zumper has on that. It seems like they have that pretty well locked down. But this is going to hit a huge portion of the market. Personal experience, Zillow Rentals works really well for driving traffic and awareness. And they also have their own little profiles that they build out for each renter that comes through your application process through Zillow. And then last but not least, everybody wants to get paid. So, Avail makes that easy to get your payment directly through their platform. So a tenant can actually, they create their account, and through creating their account, they set up their payment method, and then they can have it scheduled. It's ready to roll. It just goes. And this is one of the things that, when I talk to people who are just getting into, investment property, I encourage them, hey, look, you need to set up auto payments, and you need to make sure that's written into the lease, because you don't want to be running around collecting checks and money orders and pay cash and, all that kind of stuff. You don't want to be doing all that. It's going to create, it's just a hassle, and it's too hard for the accounting at the end of the year. And last but not least, I want to talk about this piece. I thought this was interesting. So Avail is really working to try and have that two-sided marketplace. They do have a little bit of approach. It doesn't seem to be a major portion of their marketing and advertising efforts, but they are trying to encourage and bring in some renters. And so with your rental profile, whether your landlord signs you up or you decide to sign yourself up, you can create a profile on Avail, and you can share this profile directly with any landlord. I imagine this would give you a little bit of a leg up against other prospective tenants, because all your stuff is right there, so that they can view it and they can see what's happening, and it's easy to manage. Now I want to talk about a little bit of the marketing side of Avail, see what they've got going on. So we're doing a little SEM rush digging here, and you can see over the last year, Avail's done a great job at growing their traffic. Most of it has been in the organic side, but also you can see in this orange that represents the amount they've been doing on the paid side. Quite a few keywords in the U.S., not so much outside of that. So it looks like they're pretty much exclusively in the U.S. One of the things that I expected, and sure enough is one of their top keywords organically, as well as on the paid side, is rentalations. So still picking up some traffic from that. And direct competitor, I briefly mentioned Cozy earlier. Landlordology is the content site for Cozy, and you can see down here paid competitors, Cozy.co. We'll jump over to just the paid side. As I briefly mentioned here, you can see, so we've got, branded terms, Avail, of course, apartment list, rental apps, and then a whole lot of renovations in different keyword combinations and different ads. So, SEM Rush is doing its best to estimate the amount of ad spend on a monthly basis, and it looks like Avail is sitting at around, that 50 to 55,000 a month range. So that's like 500 to 600 a day on search ads. Now, what I thought was so interesting about this is, so I wanted to see maybe about Facebook ads and what they might be doing on Facebook. based on that. Now, they've got a pretty lively Facebook page to keep up to date on some content here. As you can see, they're curating some of their own content. They've got some of their original stuff. But when I look at the ads associated with their Facebook page, it actually shows me nothing. So I thought that was very interesting that Avail wasn't doing much on Facebook advertising. Other companies that are similar or in this cross section in this space that I've talked to and worked with, Facebook has actually been a much better driver of new accounts and actually achieving those signups at affordable costs. Search has been on the more expensive side. Still works, but it's just a little bit on the more expensive side. So I just thought that was interesting. And last but not least, always touch on the Crunchbase stats here. So Avail, they were founded back in 2012. Lawrence Genklo and Ryan Kuhn. And they've done a little bit of fundraising, according to Crunchbase here, only 2.9 million. And as you guys all know, in today's landscape of real estate and tech, that's actually a little bit of money. That's not that whole lot, but that's still, I would think, that's a pretty good amount of money. Anyway, that is Avail. Congrats, you guys, on hitting your 100,000 users. Good on you guys. And so that's this week's video. We're gonna be coming at you with some more in the following weeks. We've got a new plan. I'm literally in the first day in the brand new space that we just booked out. This is my recording. I wouldn't call it a studio yet, but we're going to be building out a whole lot more for you guys. So any questions, comments, of course, the links are always in the comments below. You know how to reach me at Nate Smoyer on the internet, at Nate at realteampanda.com. If you want to send me an email. Until the next one, I'll see you then.